Olympics and identify exactly what I want to do for the next 4 years. And got a great training group at my club, at the Burloak Canoe Club in Oakville. And Brady and I decided to try out the K2. So it went well yesterday.
And you're racing again this afternoon in a couple of hours' time. So
yeah, I've got a K2B final, 500 meters, just for another start.
Men's K1 500. I'm not sure. Is it the fastest or one of the fastest times in the world you have?
Well, this sport is unique in that we don't really take too much away from the times, but I think the Olympic semi-final was in Beijing was my fastest time ever. It's a quick 1:35, and there's Ken Wallace, as we speak, the Olympic champion from 2008, a good friend of mine.
You're the Olympic champion, obviously, from 2000 and 2004. Barry Watkins, he's fairly young, but he's been he raced well in Szeged last week, and he's making the finals this week as well.
Yeah, he likes the 500 quite a bit, and he's a good paddler. I've done quite a bit of training with Barry down in Florida because he dates a Canadian woman, and he spends quite a bit of time down there. So it's good to see Barry in the A final of the 500. Very strong Latvian.
How would you pronounce his name? I'm going for Yumnyavet.
I just call him Alexei, and I wouldn't bother trying with the last name. You'll notice that I probably won't try with the last name than a lot of people.
Okay, he's 26 years old, and obviously he specialises mainly in K2. The main man yesterday.
Yeah, here's Rene Holten Poulsen from Denmark. Really fast time yesterday in K1 1000. He's generally a faster 1,000 meter paddler than 500, but I certainly wouldn't count him out for this, being in lane 5 and everything. And
you guess you know him fairly well. Another Olympic medalist in the K2 is from Beijing.
Yeah, I've never been on the Olympic podium with him because he was a Beijing K2 medalist, but fine paddler. Certainly shows up for the World Cups every year.
Let's not forget, right down the bottom, lane 9, Josef Dostal. He won the gold yesterday in the K4s. A giant of a man, but he looked quite good.
Yeah, he might be the youngest guy. And here's our Belgian friend, Maxime Richard, who qualified last year in the last spot. He's a downriver paddler.
And he competes also in the 200s in about 25 minutes' time. Well, anyway, they're off.
Good shot of Kirill from Russia, who's out to a fast start. We've got lane 7, Lachlan Tame, a new guy on the scene. Really great surf ski paddler, 3-time world champion in surf ski, and our 3-time Aussie champion in surf ski, and once world champion, I think. Sorry if I'm screwing up your bio, Lachlan. Call him Lockie, from the Gold Coast. He's a good friend of Naomi Flood and his buddy over there, Ken Wallace. Ken Wallace is up, pretty strong, especially for Kenny in lane 3. Generally likes to sit back a little bit, but if he's that close to the front of the pack at this stage in the race, then I would certainly not count him out.
So we've got Australia 1, Australia 2. The two E's are doing particularly well. I say bottom. Dorsal's in 3rd place. We've got about 200 metres to go.
Lachlan's very, very strong. A little bit of inexperience might have caught him at the halfway mark. Went out pretty fast there. Certainly don't want to count out Joseph Dostal in lane 9 here, pushing through hard to the finish.
So coming up to the 110 metres to go, and it looks like Kenny Wallace at the top is putting in great performance. Remember, he got the bronze yesterday, and he won the 500 last week.
I'd say it's Kenny and Joseph for the gold right now. I wouldn't count out Renee's finish here. Renee's tightening up a little bit, and Kenny's looking very, very strong. I'd say it's Kenny pushing through here, the Olympic champion from 2008. Strong charge to the finish line. Great finish.
What a performance.
And I think Renee took the silver medal in Denmark. A great race from those guys.
Looks like maybe Maxime Richard came in 3rd, I believe. So yeah, good start of the day. Is there part of you, clearly I'm sure there's a big part of you that wish it was still an Olympic event, but
oh, absolutely. No, that certainly hasn't gone away. This is an exciting race, and as we just saw, leads change 2 or 3 times in a 500. I certainly wouldn't like to see it back in the Olympics at the expense of the 200 because it's certainly a fan favorite. But I think there's certainly room for more events in the Olympics, particularly with swimming having so many and track and field having so many.
So I should ask him myself, but Kenny had not a brilliant year last year, but he stormed the Australian trials this year. Well, he stormed the Oceanic trials by himself and with Lockie. What keeps you senior athletes going? And what's for him? How can he be so good this year, so early?
Well, I think with regards to Kenny specifically, he did have kind of a disappointing year last year, and not because he wasn't fit, but just because he didn't have the results that he was hoping for, I think, at the Australian trials earlier in the season, losing the K1 to Murray Stewart, and not being part of the K4 on the on the start line, but you know, being part of that process, it's hard to sit back and watch. So I think he was probably inspired by his friends.
Excellent. Let's quickly cut off